Hi, everybody. My name's Katie Dundas. I'm on the Office 365 product marketing team. Thanks for joining us. End of the day, day one. How have the sessions been so far? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Are people learning new things? Have you come and have you heard stuff you already heard before? How are we doing on our balance of new stuff and old stuff? Are we striking the right balance, or do we need to lean more one way or the other? You can tell us in the session evaluations. That's a great thing to do. Well, this is the last session of the day. Thank you for coming. I know that I am what's standing between you and the Ask the Experts happy hour. So we'll try to keep this entertaining and engaging. We are recording this session, and so what that means is I'd ask you to hold all questions until the end so that we can get a clear recording that you can share with people when you go back home next week, or our friends online can access at any time. So terrific. Before we get started, artificial intelligence is got to be the hottest topic in the tech industry right now. I think, if you read any of the end of 2016 year-end reviews or what's hot in 2017 articles, AI tops that list. And it's no surprise. I mean, AI is a type of technology that captures our imagination. And for many of us, it's, ideas like this that brought us into the industry in the first place. It's a very broad topic. There's a lot of different technology that falls into that category. Everything from self-driving cars to the technology in robots to what powers the Netflix suggestions for the next video you should watch. And so I want to ground it a bit. When in Office 365, we talk about the experiences that we can deliver, the intelligent experiences throughout the suite, we're talking about the ability to apply reason to large sets of data. And that can be accomplished through a variety of technologies, but generally speaking, it's the ability to apply reason to large sets of data and derive insights. Insights that can help save you time, insights that can help expose you to content you may have not seen otherwise, and ultimately help you get more done. So that's what we'll be talking about today. And we'll approach this in really three different sections. First, we'll talk about Microsoft's approach to AI. This is not a new area for us to be working, and so we'll talk a little bit about our approach there. Second, we'll talk about how these experiences come to life in the Office 365 applications. And finally, we'll spend most of our time actually in the applications themselves and look at the experiences that are available today in Office 365 that are powered by this. So for starters, Microsoft has a long history in artificial intelligence. Back in 1991, Bill Gates had a vision that computers could see, hear, and understand humans. And he went ahead and created Microsoft Research, a dedicated research organization at the company to pursue these ends in terms of research. And Microsoft Research is different than many of the other organizations in Microsoft. It's full of scientists and researchers, and these are people who have won the Fields Medal, the Turing Award, the MacArthur Fellows. It's a pretty heavy-hitting group, and in the past over 20 years, they've done a number of breakthroughs in the field of AI. And why does this matter for customers? Well, it matters because we're able to, as they make those breakthroughs, slipstream those advancements into products that you're using today. Office 365, Cortana, Azure. And so anyone who's using these products today is already a beneficiary of that work that's happened. And this is an active area of investment for the company. And so you'll see a lot more coming in the years ahead. Just last fall, we created a special organization in the company focused specifically on AI that takes those researchers from Microsoft Research and combines them with the folks in the different product groups who are focused on AI as well, and brings them together with a goal to bring those innovations to market more quickly. So it's an exciting space for us right now. We have a set of principles that guide our investments in this space. And foremost among them is the principle that AI is designed to assist humanity. Our goal is to develop technology and applications and experiences that augment your work, that bring your best ideas to life. And that's central in how we move forward with this technology. So how do we do that? Well, the answer is really the Microsoft Graph. That is the element that really makes these experiences possible. And to explain the graph, I want you to think about all the data you have stored in Exchange today. all those email messages that they were sent from someone to someone else in SharePoint, all those documents that somebody uploaded, somebody edited, somebody modified, somebody viewed. The graph, Microsoft Graph, maps the connections between people and content, and from that derives insights into what might matter to different people at the company. So if I email a lot with my colleagues Nick and Bridget, and we're emailing about a topic of AI, then the graph is going to pick up on that, and it's going to know that I'm interested in the work of these two people, and I'm interested in this topic. And throughout my Office 365 experiences, regardless of the application I'm in, I will be exposed to more content from those people I'm working with and those topics I've indicated an interest in. So this is the graphic that sort of shows you how machine learning can pick up on these insights, and then from that we derive insights. So that's at a high level the role of the graph. All of the applications in Office 365 are infused by intelligence from the graph. And so as you go from Word, PowerPoint, MyAnalytics, and Delve, of course, you will see those graph insights come to light. So in Office 365, these are visible in really 4 different ways. And the first is that relevant data just finds you. Now, Delve is an application that I think of as the front door to the graph insights, and actually we'll demo that, so we'll talk more about that. But the information that you're interested in is nearby. You don't have to go out looking for it. That information comes to you. It also means assistance when you need it. So whether it's through bots in the new Microsoft Teams application, or it's through working together with Cortana and different application experiences, we're able to deliver new experiences that can help save you time. And we'll look at some of those too. And third, familiar apps. Many of us spend time in Word and PowerPoint, and we're making investments in delivering new features in those applications so that you can focus on the work of creation, on the work of getting your ideas together, and less on the work of trying to find all the related content that is informing that presentation. And don't have to spend as much time on the design of that. So it's really focused on your ideas. And finally, the insights from the graph are fully extensible. So if you're developing an application and you want to take advantage of some of the insights that the graph is producing, you can do that. And all of those details are on graph.microsoft.com. So that's the high level of Office 365 and how we're going after intelligence. Rather than do any more slides, I thought we could just switch gears and get right into the applications themselves. So let's do that now. Okay. All right. So we'll start off here in the app launcher. And you can see there's the Delve tile right here. And if I go into Delve, I see a collection of all of the content that may be of interest to me based on my interactions across Office 365. And it's organized by cards. So I can see here that Garth Fort has modified a PowerPoint document that I own. And if I want to go and take action on that, I can go ahead and send a link, copy a link. And it's important to note that Delve shows me only the items that I already have permission to see. Delve does not change any existing permissions. And so the content I see here is content I could have seen if I'd gone to Garth's OneDrive for Business. I could have found it on my own if I wanted to, but here Delve is doing me a favor and serving it up in a way that's easy for me to find and manage. And if I want to hang on to a document that somebody else has created, I can go ahead and add it to my favorites. Thank you. And that creates an easy access point where I can save documents regardless of where they're saved if I want to check on them in the future. It's a very handy sorting mechanism there. Boards are another great way to organize content in Delve. So you can see here I have a board for sales performance. And so as I discover new content in Delve, I can go ahead and add it to that board and then share this board with all of my colleagues who are interested in the same topic. And it becomes another way to curate content and share content in a readily consumable way. Now, one of my favorite use cases for Delve is actually using it as a place where other people can find information that I have and want to share. For example, at Microsoft, we have a very large campus, and I'm frequently walking a long ways to get to different meetings. And what I like to do is just leave my laptop in my office, and once I get to the meeting, have the person go to my Delve and pull up the presentation from my Delve. It's both a way to help people understand how to use the product, but also it means I don't have to lug around that heavy laptop everywhere. And we see this play out in the usage data for Delve. What we've learned is that people are a proxy for content. When we look into how our customers are using Delve, we see that their end users don't remember file names, they don't remember where documents are stored, but they reliably remember who shared that document with them. And so their usage of Delve is actually to go and search on a person's name and then see all the documents associated to that person. And this is helpful in that if you think about the scenario where you go to a meeting and someone gives a good presentation, and then after the meeting you want to see that presentation, generally you have to email that person, and it creates a whole email exchange that's not really high value for anyone. When people are using Delve, they can self-serve. They can simply remember that Karen gave a great presentation. I'm going to go to her Delve and pull it down because it's publicly available. So here you can see the rich profile experience. This is the view of a person in Delve, and it includes all the basic profile information, but it also has where they sit in the organization, as well as the documents they've been working on recently and people they've been working with recently. And this provides a rich 360-degree view of the person, more than just their organizational title and office location, but a full picture of everything they're working on. Now, some users may not want to participate in Delve, and there's an easy way for them to opt out. Up here in the settings wheel, you simply go to Feature Settings, and you can turn off Documents. That will remove that person's content from Delve, so other people won't be able to see it in Delve. However, if their content's already in OneDrive for Business, shared with everyone, people could still go and find the documents there. So that's a bit about Delve. It's there to help you find content. Now let's take a look at MyAnalytics. And how many people in the room are using MyAnalytics? Okay, all right, perfect. So today, to get to MyAnalytics, you navigate through the Delve app and click there. We're actually working on a new tile for MyAnalytics in the app launcher. So soon that navigation will be from the central app launcher. So MyAnalytics is a tool that's designed to help you manage your time better and prioritize your work. And it looks at your work across 4 different aspects. First, meeting hours, how you're spending your time in meeting. Email hours, focus hours, the time you have to actually do your work. And then finally, how much work activity are you doing after hours? Now, this has real implications when you think about your week. Say, if I have 18 hours in meetings, when I start work on Monday morning, already half of my week is committed into meetings. And that's just not going to work in terms of getting the rest of my priorities done. So you can easily edit goals and change them. Oh, that one didn't take. And it helps you track your time. MyAnalytics also gives you smart suggestions for how to use more time effectively. So here MyAnalytics is saying, hey, 34% of your time in meetings was in the same meeting as Pradeep. Maybe you guys could divide and conquer and only one of you attend those meetings and not both of you. And insights like that can give you real actionable information about how to make better use of your time in the workplace. MyAnalytics also shows me how my communication is doing with people in my network. And I have 2 categories for that. First is my important connections. These are the ones that I select as VIPs. So my managers, other leaders at the company, and I can see details on our email exchange, what's our read rate on messages. And that's helpful for understanding and getting a sense of, are my communications effective? I can also see my organic collaboration. So these are my top collaborators. These are just the people I'm working with most. And as I look through this list, I can go ahead and see, gosh, I really need to be working more closely with Lydia, and I could go ahead and star her and promote her into an important contact that I track more closely. MyAnalytics also shows who I'm losing touch with. Now, projects come and go, so it could be totally natural that I'm losing touch with people because these projects have ended, but it's helpful for me to have insight into where am I doing most of my collaboration and who am I not working with as closely. The team is actually working on some new features in MyAnalytics, and one of them is a look at how your collaboration works in groups. We know that people spend 50 to 60% of their time in groups, and so this view can help you be more productive in all of those group collaborations. So over here on the left, I see my groups, and these can be internal groups or external groups of customers. And I can set targets based on how much time I think I should be spending collaborating with those groups. Now, if I'm working on a product launch, and that's my #1 priority for the next couple of months, I know that I need to spend at least 50% of my time with that group. So I can go ahead and set that target here, and I can monitor it as we go through the next couple of months, and I get flags if I'm missing my target. This meeting hours view is really helpful for giving me a sense of which meetings am I attending and which ones are high value and which ones are low value. So here you see a list of my meetings. I can see who set them up and how many I have. But what's really interesting is when MyAnalytics tells me my activities in these meetings. And here you can see I have a column for multitasking, and I have a column for recurring. And so any meeting on this list in which I'm multitasking is it causes me to consider, is that a high value use of my time? If I'm already doing email in the meeting, do I need to be in the meeting? Should I look for ways to cover that content in a different form? And so it gives you insights into how your schedule is where your attention is and how you can optimize your schedule over time. So that's a bit about MyAnalytics. Now let's switch gears and look at some of the Office applications. I'm going to switch machines. Oops. All right. Let's see. All right, we'll start off in Word. We have a new feature in Word called Tap that helps me leverage and reuse content from my peers into my new presentations. And so the goal with Delve, of course, is to help you discover content that you didn't know exists. Tap is different. Tap is helping you access and reuse content that you do know exists. So in marketing at Microsoft, many of the folks on the team deliver similar presentations throughout the year. But no two presentations are identical. Maybe 90% of the content will be the same. So TAP gives us a way to easily include that information and bring it into our presentation. So let me show you what that looks like. So I have a new Word document here. I go into Insert, and I click Tap. And Tap is going to pull up the documents that have been accessed recently in my network. And I can take these documents and scroll down and find what I'm looking for. Let me find a good chart here. And then I can easily insert that into my document. Here we go. Here's a chart. And when that's inserted, all the formatting is applied. I can go in and I can type anything I want to type in there. And it saves me the work of recreating that in this very document. It also saves me the work of going out and looking for the document where it might exist. So if someone has a PowerPoint that I want to leverage, normally what I would do is I would think, oh, do I have that in the email? Is it in my OneDrive? I would go on this search. I would look in multiple places. I would open multiple documents to make sure I had the right one. Tap allows me to skip that whole process and right here in context in Word, pull just the pieces I want and keep moving forward. So it's handy. And this chart is simple, but you can imagine more complicated pieces of content that you could put in there. We're also investing in Word to help everyone show up at their best in terms of written communications. So we all go through, at least 12 years of school, and we get educated on how to communicate effectively and grammar, probably more. But what happens as we do stop our education at a certain point and get into the workplace, we've built new features into Word to help all of us have our best spelling, grammar, and effective communication. And these are actually powered by artificial intelligence and machine learning that looks at the language processing. We've done a special collaboration between a team of linguists and some of the machine learning applications to develop these suggestions and make sure that they are correct in context. So it's been an interesting partnership on that. Let me show you a couple examples. So here we see that familiar red squiggly line that tells me that I have a misspelled word. If I right-click on that, Word is going to tell me the correct spelling of that word, but more than that, Word is going to go ahead and give me a few synonyms for that word. So I get reinforcement on, okay, we can correct that spelling, but here's what that word means. So I get a fuller understanding, because it may not, in fact, be the right word at all that I wanted to use. So Word is helping to educate me there. Now down here, I see the blue lines. The blue lines are telling me there's a grammatical error. And in this case, it's a word choice error. So I've used effect, and the correct usage in that sentence would be affect. And again, Word tells me a couple synonyms so I can understand what it's suggesting. So in these ways, it's helping to reinforce good communication skills. As someone who's stayed up late editing documents for my children before they turn them in, I can say this is appropriate at school age, but it's also appropriate for all of us in the workforce. Those handy little tricks that save us time and help us show up better at work. So that's a bit on Editor. Now let's take a look at PowerPoint. So I don't know about you, but we create a lot of presentations where I work, and frequently what happens is we spend all of our time on the content, which is the most important part to get your ideas captured correctly, but frequently we run out of time for the design process. So we have a new feature in PowerPoint to help make those designs a little better. It's called Designer. So here we are, we have a new presentation that I'm working on, and I'm going to do a presentation on cars, so I'm going to go ahead and put a picture of a car in. So I've got my Tesla. I just insert that picture. Automatically, without me having to do anything, PowerPoint suggests a couple design options. See how it's flowed that photo into full bleed there and added a couple design options? If I just click on that twice, now I have a beautiful start to my presentation, and I'm ready to go. Very simple, very in the flow. And between these changes in Word and PowerPoint, you can see we're trying to keep the end user in context. So you don't have to go to so many outside places. You can stay in the app and keep focusing on your work, and the content and the help comes to you. Terrific. Now let's take a look at Microsoft Teams. How many folks have heard about or used Teams? A couple. Okay, so Teams is the new chat-based workspace from Microsoft. We announced it in last November. It's in preview now. Teams is included in Office 365 subscriptions, and it's created to be really a digital translation of an open work environment. So if you think about, a workplace where you have a lot of cubicles, a lot of people who are working together out in the open, Teams is meant to be the digital version of that. It's chat-based, so it's high-velocity communications in nature. And since it's new to many of us, let me just orient you on the UI. So the organizing principle in Teams is that you have a team of people. So I would create a team and add everybody in the room to the team. And then within the team, we have different channels for different work areas. So design, digital asset development. And here in the go-to-market plan channel, I have all my communications with everybody in the team. I can share documents. It's fully integrated with the rest of Office 365. And when someone shares a document here in a message, it appears in our Files section. So we can either upload directly to that Files section or just rely on the fact that anything shared in the thread will be shown here. We also have a shared OneNote, and we can add other applications and customize it and add in a project plan from Planner. Or we could have a Power BI dashboard that shows us our metrics that the team is working on. So it's a very rich experience in Teams. It's built on Office 365 groups. Oh, you can see here, you can have Giphies, you can have all sorts of fun in Teams. How it relates to intelligence is that Teams also benefits from all the learnings in the Microsoft Graph, and we're building bots into Teams. And so new users in Teams are greeted by T-Bot. And T-Bot dispenses end-user guidance on how to use Teams. So if I asked it a question, I can ask T-Bot. So T-Bot will return a couple of pieces of user guidance to help me answer that question. So very handy piece of technology in the product. The other experience we're building in terms of bots is WhoBot. Now this is very interesting when you think about the challenge of finding an expert in your organization. So what WhoBot will do is if I'm having discussions with a colleague and we're trying to find an expert on customer service, I can ask WhoBot, who's an expert in customer service? And WhoBot will go out and it will search the obvious places we know of, which would be people's profiles and how they self-describe themselves, but it will also look at the content of the messages that they share to identify, if I'm looking for an expert on artificial intelligence and someone shares a lot of files on artificial intelligence, WhoBot will return them in the list of potential people who could answer that question. WhoBot is still in development and was not working earlier today when I tried it. But I can scroll and show you a list. So this is an example of what it looks like when WhoBot comes back to you with a set of replies about who in your organization may be an expert on a given topic. So really interesting space to see not only Teams, which is a brand new product, but how intelligence is being woven in and how it can help people get their work done more quickly. Finally, I want to show you one more experience, and that's back in slides. So all right, let us catch up to where we were. So back in December, we talked about a new product that's still in development. It's not officially out yet, and it's called Calendar.help. It's actually in preview right now. And Calendar.help works across Cortana and Outlook to help people schedule meetings. So the act of scheduling a meeting can take a lot of time to find a time that works and to find a location that works. And so Calendar.help is in a testing phase now in preview. And I'm going to walk you through a slide-based example of how it works. So imagine a scenario where I'm hiring a new person on my team, and I've just met somebody at a networking event that I want to bring in for an interview. So if we do that, you see that I'm going to go ahead and email that person. Her name's Lizzie. And I'm going to say, Lizzie, I'd really like to bring you in for a meeting. I will copy Cortana on the CC line and say Cortana will help schedule the interview. From this point on, I'm not involved in the scheduling process. It's driven by Cortana. Cortana sends me an email to confirm my request and says, hey, Katie, we're going to go ahead and schedule this meeting with Lizzie, and then you're going to see it come on your calendar. So I always know what Cortana is doing on my behalf. Then Cortana's next step is to email Lizzie directly and say, or actually, I'm emailing Lizzie. I've already emailed her. You saw that one before. So then Cortana follows up and says, hi, I'm helping schedule this meeting. Do these times work for you? Cortana has checked my schedule in Outlook, identified times that work, and then written an email to Lizzie and proposed those times. And Lizzie's on Gmail, so this works with any email platform. It does not have to be Outlook specific. Lizzie gets back, says, nope, those times don't work, but can you look into Wednesday? I do have time on Wednesday, so Cortana goes ahead and books that time, or actually gives some options, and then the meeting is scheduled. Cortana then sends a meeting confirmation, schedules the meeting, and we're good to go. So these are some of the ways that we're working not just within Office 365, but across all the products to help take some of the routine tasks off people's plates and make it easier to just focus on the work that you do want to do. And so this is clearly still in preview now. If you're interested, you could sign up for the preview, but that gives you a sense of the direction we're going with some of the applications. That's it for the demos. I hope you've gotten a sense of how we're approaching the intelligence space and how you can expect it to come to life in different applications. Our goal is to deliver features that help augment your work and bring your best ideas to life. And I think we've seen some good examples of that across the different products today. If you have questions, please stay here. Once I end the presentation, come on down here. And we can also all go up to the Ask the Experts session, which is happening shortly up in the main mezzanine. Thank you for your time today. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the rest of the summit.